Hello, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR 1339 Facts Edition. And what I didn't know I think I've looked at this once or twice, I don't remember, is that this book comes from a TV show. And people in the comments told me it comes from John Lloyd. CBE is the creator of, is it QI? And the man who devised the news quiz and To the Manor Born for radio and not the 9 o'clock news, Spinning Image, and Blackadder. Oh, Blackadder for television. Anyway, I don't know if that made sense to anyone, but they're British facts, which I kind of noticed because some of them I was like, who is that? And in honor of it being British, I am wearing a greenish wool cardigan, like Lord Cardigan, which I think for some reason whenever I wear it, I feel very British. I start going like, hello, governor. Anyway, okay. So I thought we could just pick up where we left off. Let's see real quick. What year is this from? 2013. So it's 11 years old. So we made it all the way to page 60. I don't know what I was trying there. And we shall continue. Earmuffs were invented by a 13-year-old. Okay. Within 7 years of their invention, 60% of the U.S. population owned boom boxes. I had a boom box for sure. A collection of boomerangs and a Z-bed were found in I know how to say this. Oh my gosh. I do know how to say this. It's like a word, you read it. King Tut. Tutankhamun. Isn't that weird? Anyway, King Tut's tomb. What's a Z-bed? I don't know. King Tut died of a broken leg. I think I remember hearing that he was riding a horse or something. Some whales are born with a small leg protruding from their body. They're so close. They're so close to walking. Whales have hip bones, which means they must have once left the oceans, grown legs, decided they didn't like it, and gone back into the sea again. The bar stools on Aristotle Onassis' yacht were upholstered with whales' foreskins. Ew. Moby Dick was based on a real sperm whale called Mocha Dick. I did know it was based on a real event, but I never heard that Mocha Dick part. Geronimo's real name was Goyathle, meaning he who yawns. Yawning cools your brain like a fan cools the inside of a computer. Babies yawn in the womb. They also swallow, stretch, and hiccup. I can attest to that. When I had twins, when I was pregnant with twins, they used to like move their fist and it would pop out of me like alien. Like, you could see it moving across. And I was waiting tables and I'd be standing there and like a fist would go. And sometimes people would notice, oh my gosh. And I'll tell you, well, never mind. Babies up to the age of 6 months can swallow and breathe at the same time. I feel like I can still do that. I feel like if I have a sippy cup, I can swallow and breathe, but maybe not. I don't know. What is this word? Pendiculation is yawning and stretching at the same time. Oh, it's my favorite. first thing in the morning, like while you're still in bed, to go and get a good stretch and yawn. Oh man, I love that. There is enough tissue in the human lung to cover a tennis court. There is enough carbon in your body to make 9,000 pencils. You lose a pound of carbon in weight every night just from breathing. Really? Diamonds boil at 4,027 degrees Celsius. Negative 40 Celsius and negative 40 Fahrenheit are the same temperature. 15 degrees Celsius is the highest temperature ever recorded in Antarctica. I don't know if that's still true though, because this is 11 years old. There are 300 lakes beneath Antarctica that are kept from freezing by the warmth of the Earth's core. Wow, that's kind of neat. Husky dogs have been banned from Antarctica since 1994. I had a husky for a minute. I found it, took care of it. When Roald Amundsen traveled to the South Pole, he ate his huskies on the way back. Well, maybe it's not that the huskies are banned. They just don't want to go. Liking that. Only one dog has ever been to both the North and the South Poles. And then he was eaten. During the 1962 World Cup, a dog ran onto the pitch and urinated on Jimmy Greaves. Gosh. Russian cosmonauts urinate on the right rear wheel of the bus, on the right rear wheel of the bus taking them to the space shuttle to bring themselves luck. The I'm feeling lucky button on Google costs the company $110 million a year in lost ad revenue. What? Why? You don't get an ad when you hit that? I'm feeling lucky. I wonder if that button's still on there. I haven't noticed it. I don't know. Oh, I guess because normally you'd put in a search and it'll bring up all these searches and some of them are ads. But this just takes you to a site. I don't remember. Do they still have that or not? I don't remember. In 2006, a man named Ronald Mann had a heart attack and crashed his car. The impact worked like a defibrillator and restarted his heart. Wow. You know what's kind of cool about this book is the facts are super random, but he or she who wrote this, I think it's a guy, anyway, has them so it'll be like urinate, and then, well, I don't really know how the Google one fit in, but it seems like the eyes kind of have something to do with each other. I don't know. James Dean's last appearance on film before his fatal car crash in 1959 was in a road safety commercial. I went to James Dean's grave once. In 1895, the only two cars in Ohio crashed into each other. What? That's kind of funny. How bad a driver. The odds of hitting 2 holes in one in the same round of golf are 67 million to 1. Mo Farah, Sir Roger Bannister, Sir Chris Hoy, Jason Kenney, and Sir Steve Redgrave were all born on March 23rd. I've never heard of any of those people. So this whole fact means nothing to me. Moses, Raphael, Arnold Bennett, Captain Oates, and Ingrid Bergman all died on their birthdays. Moses? Okay. The ancient city of Alexandria was built so that the sun shone down the main street on Alexander the Great's birthday. Wow, pretty cool. Galileo was born on the day that Michelangelo died. Okay. People who die of old age are more likely to die at 11 a.m. than at any other time. I'm trying to think when my father-in-law died. I think he died earlier in the morning. 3 U.S. presidents died on the 4th of July. I literally just did a president's video, so I'm going to guess. It was John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. It was, wait a minute. John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and I think it's Monroe. John Adams, Thomas Jefferson in 1826, and James Monroe 5 years later. Yep. Between April and July of 1776, U.S. states issued more than 90 different declarations of independence. like they had different language? I mean, like, they said different things? Is that what they mean? What? I've never heard that. John Adams, second president of the United States, took up smoking at the age of 8. I would think back then that might not be that unusual. John Tyler, 10th president of the USA, was born in 1790, but 2 of his grandsons are still alive. I don't know if that's still true now, though. I don't know. I feel like one of them might be. When George W. Bush, 43rd president of the USA, arrived in the White House, he found the Clinton administration had removed the W keys from all the computers. Well, that would be pretty petty. I gotta look that up. Weird. President Clinton of the USA is an anagram of President Clinton of the USA is an anagram of. To copulate, he finds interns. Okay. In 1999, the president of Niger was Major Wank. Wanky? Is that like that? Like wank? I guess. We don't know. Okay. In 1939, 835 sheep were killed by a single lightning strike in Utah. What? Were they standing on a metal plate or something? 835 by a single strike. The best way to avoid being struck by lightning is to crouch down away from trees with your bottom sticking up in the air. Huh. Is that true? Like, why? Okay. Blowing air up an armadillo's bottom causes it to leap 3 feet into the air. Who tested that? Air trapped inside hedgehogs can make them blow up like a balloon. They should be carefully deflated with a syringe before they burst. I don't get these. The Victorians kept hedgehogs in their kitchens to control cockroaches. Okay, I don't mind that. If a cockroach touches a person, it immediately runs away and washes itself. Cockroaches are like, gross. Dirty, dirty, dirty. Rats urinate on food to mark it as edible. Monkeys urinate on themselves to attract a mate. An ostrich can kill a lion with a single blow. Being attacked by an ostrich left Johnny Cash with an addiction to painkillers. What? I didn't know that. Being attacked by an ostrich? Huh. Early Arabic texts refer to cannabis as the bush of understanding and the shrub of emotion. In 1850, cannabis was used in the USA to treat tetanus, typhus, cholera, rabies, dysentery, alcoholism, anthrax, leprosy, snake bites, tonsillitis, and insanity. Yeah, it's still being used for all that, I think. Ketamine was the most commonly used anesthetic during the Vietnam War. A Macedonian soldier from 300 BC was more likely to survive treatment for a wound than a British soldier at Sebastopol in 1854. Because they were bleeding people out, I think, a lot, and so people would die of just bleeding. Patients admitted to hospital at weekends. Patients admitted to hospital at the weekend are 40% more likely to die than those admitted during the work week. I have heard that, and during holidays too. A human being can survive for 9 seconds at 1,000 degrees Celsius without suffering lasting damage. I'm going to need this in Fahrenheit. I don't know. Since 1940, 157 people have fallen from planes without parachutes and survived. Wow. Since 1990, more people have been killed by sand castles than by sharks. Yeah. Really, it's when people make those bathtubs, which we used to do all the time. But you dig a hole and the water kind of comes in and you get in there. That's really can be dangerous. And they collapse. Shark Bay, Australia is now called Safety Beach. It changed its name to attract tourists. Oh no. I'm terrified of sharks. Terrified. I love them. I respect them. But I'm scared to death of them. I can barely take a bath. Just barely. Kangaroo Island was named in 1802 by Matthew Flinders after he and his crew slaughtered 51 kangaroos there and made them into soup. At birth, a kangaroo is smaller than a cherry. Because opossums have forked penises, early naturalists thought males mated with the female's nose. What? Okay. I mean, why? Okay, I have a lot of questions, but a renifluer is someone who gets sexual pleasure from smells. The human nose can distinguish between over 10,000 different smells. I think some can and some can't. I have a pretty good nose. I don't know. What is this word? Rhinotelexomania is the scientific term for being unable to stop picking your nose. You know the rule on that is you can pick your nose. No, You can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friends' noses. It is impossible to hum while holding your nose. I mean, we have to try it, don't we? Hold on. It is impossible. You can't. Everybody do it right now. Hold on. I feel like if I tried, it would be very loud. But to try to do it quietly is definitely not possible. That's funny. I'm going to do this with my sister. I have to remember to do that. Humpback whales can sing non-stop for 20 hours. Nightingales can remember over 200 different songs. That's nice. The fastest known muscle in nature is found in the throats of songbirds. The superb fairy wren teaches its chicks to sing while they are still in the egg. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's like when you're pregnant and you put headphones on your belly and play classical music. Or the Clash in my case. Ludo was invented in ancient India. I don't know what Ludo is. Jenga means to build in Swahili. Chinese checkers was invented in Germany. Samuel Taylor Coleridge invented the sport of rock climbing. William Webb Ellis died in France, completely unaware he had been credited with the invention of rugby. The French Vichy government, am I saying that right? I'm not sure, banned rugby league because they considered it a communist sport. Rugby school's first official rugby kit in 1871 included a bow tie. The Nazi uniforms were designed by Hugo Boss. I don't think I've ever. The Nazi uniforms were designed by Hugo Boss. That's a fact that, like, I want to remember, but I probably won't remember it. When Joseph Mengele, this is another one of those words. I've read it a bazillion times, but I don't exactly know how to say it. Joseph I can't remember if it's Mengele or Mengele or Anyway, he's a Nazi. Fled to Argentina. He went through customs with several suitcases full of human body parts. Oh, gosh. He was a monster. I think he's the one. Well, I won't get into it, but basically he did tests on twins and stuff. He's terrible, terrible. Iran is the only country in the world where it is legal to sell your kidneys. In Alabama, it is illegal to recommend shades of paint without a license. Oh my. The Knights Templars' most important rule was to avoid kissing women. The ancient Greek city of Megara held a version of the Olympic Games which included a kissing contest. Only boys were allowed to enter. PE, or physical education, teachers were originally banned from the modern Olympics because they were professionals. At the 1908 Olympic Games in London, Great Britain won gold, silver, and bronze in the tug-of-war. The Kalenjin people of Kenya make up 0.05% of the world's population, but have won almost 50% of its major distance running events since 1980. That's very interesting, actually. I remember I had a sociology class and we really delved into that. But I know that's still true because my sons run marathons, and I feel like a lot of times Kenyans win those. The fastest 100 meters run by an 8-year-old today would have won bronze at the 1896 Olympics. That's interesting. The 1988 Olympics included the sport of solo synchronized swimming. That's my kind of sport. Solo synchronized swimming. I assume they gave you a thing you had to do, I guess. It's weird, called it synchronized, though. My sister and I were going to volunteer for the Olympics in Italy, and we discussed it. You have to pay, it's kind of expensive, but we were like, this will be really cool. And then we went to fill out the form, and it was too late. Polar bears can swim 60 miles without stopping. An ostrich could run the London Marathon in 45 minutes. A garden snail would take 3 years and 2 months to make its way from John O'Groats to Land's End. I don't know. Light travels from John O'Groats to Land's End in 0.00469 seconds. 8,000 years ago, Britain had so many trees that a squirrel could go from John O'Groats to Land's End without touching the ground. Okay. Nemophilia is the love of spending time in the forest. Oh, well, I must be a nemophiliac then, because I love it. 2 out of 3 trees in the world are dangerously parched. The only way to tell if trees are short of water is to record the sounds they make. The thirstier they are, the louder they get. Different branches on the same ash tree can be male, female, or both at once. Oysters can change their sex up to 4 times a year. Fruit bats enjoy fellatio. Men are more likely to die during sex if they're cheating on their wives. Because their wives kill them. More than 1/3 of men using dating sites are already married. More than 1/3 of married Canadians sleep in separate rooms. I don't know how to say this name. Ptolemy the Seventh married his sister Cleopatra II, who was also his brother's widow. So his wife was not only his sister, but his sister-in-law. Okay. Einstein, Rachmaninoff, Darwin, H.G. Wells, and Edgar Allan Poe all married their first cousins. Yeah, that was common, though, back then. When filling in forms, Agatha Christie always gave her occupation as married woman. 90% of the world's teenage mothers aged 16 to 19 are married. I don't know if that would still be true. In London, women over 40 are giving birth at twice the rate of teenagers. Okay. Sounds possible. In Mexican slang, To mother something is to wreck it. Anything that has no mother is very cool. And mothers means whoops. Mothers. In Korean, there are no words for brother or sister, but there are words for an older or younger brother and an older or younger sister. Okay, so instead of just saying my brother, my sister, you're saying in one word that they're an older brother. I mean, that makes sense. Having a younger brother or sister can increase your blood pressure by more than 5%. Well, I think sometimes it can lower it, and other times it'll increase it by 90%. It would take 1.2 million mosquitoes, each sucking at once, to completely drain the average human of blood. A midge beats its wings 62,750 times a minute. It takes a male flea 6 to 8 hours to unfold all the different parts of its penis. Wood lice have 14 legs. The vampire spider is attracted to the smell of human feet. Mice enjoy the smell of marijuana. The Japanese word kerishu describes the smell of old people. Moths can smell one another from 7 miles away. The faint trace of perfume left in the wake of a passing person is known as silage. I can't decide if I like that. In 2007, the makers of Stilton marketed Eau de Stilton, a perfume to recreate the earthy and fruity aroma of the cheese. That must have been a joke. Stilton is like blue cheese for the Americans. A cheeseline is a small cheese. Cheese lips is another name for wood lice. They were once used to curdle milk. A glass of milk left in the Lut Desert in Iran will not go off. The heat is so intense it kills all the bacteria. All Neanderthals were lactose intolerant. Lee Pearson, winner of 10 Paralympic golds for dressage, is allergic to horses. Interesting. Pigs suffer from anorexia. What? How does that make sense? All right. We'll read this page and then. There were fewer than 50 restaurants in Paris before the 1789 revolution. By 1814, there were more than 3,000. The first Indian restaurant in the UK opened 50 years before the first fish and chip shop. I've had both of those things in England and they're delicious. The oldest known English cookbook is called The Form of Curry, but now with 2 R's, curry. In English, an English person from 2013 could not understand an English person from 1300 without a translator. In the 14th century, a high-spirited person was known as a Great Willie. Cumbria has villages called Great Snoring and Great Friup, and a hill called Great cock up. Fletcher Christian and William Wadsworth were at school together in Cockermouth, Cumbria. I think this is pronounced Wadsworth, not Wordsworth, even though it's spelled Wordsworth. Anyway, I think it is Wordsworth, whatever. Had no sense of smell. Yeah. But back to smell. Look, guys, we still have this much. Like, we've not read as much as we have left. So that's fun. This was a pretty good bargain for $2 at the thrift store. All right. Talk to you soon. I like this cover too. It's like that rose petally kind of soft cover. Look, pigs suffer from anorexia is right on here. Following the sensational success of 1,227 QI facts to blow your socks off. Oh, there's a whole nother